production.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It is your boy, Sir Yeetus. Welcome to episode 199 of Yeetus' Thoughts. Gentlemen, I made it. I made it to the mountaintop. Next live stream is episode 200. It's going to be a big one. Remember, I'm getting in contact with all the big dogs, as many content creators as possible, and bring them all together into one live stream, because I believe it's a momentous occasion. I need to bring out the big guns. So best believe, look out for that on Sunday. This Sunday, look out for that. It's going to be a great stream. And I'm glad that all of you supported me along the way. I remember my first stream. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just winging it all the way up until now. Goddamn, almost 2 years of this shit. I'm still going. Let's go. Even though Susan has a target on my back, I'm not going to stop. We can't stop. But regardless, welcome to episode 199 of Yeetus' Thoughts. The topic today is hard times create strong men. Gentlemen, I know that the actual hard times isn't here yet. It's not here yet. Right now, we're still in that downward, slowly decaying. Um, uh, Weak men create hard times. We're still at that stage right now. I know you see it throughout society. I can list a million things of what's going on in society that is one of many reasons why we are rotting from within. We all know this. We all know this, okay? The people that's in this space right now, the people that actually listen to content creators that speaks about porn shit, you know, it's within our lifetimes, things are not going to end well. It's not going to end not good. And if it's not our lifetimes, the next generation is definitely going to have a bad time. Because you already know, gentlemen, you already know right now, things are just getting worse and worse and worse when it comes to men. Right? Not only they try to pussify men, not only they put on countless laws against men, not only men have no choice but to accept abuse in fear of getting in trouble by the state. And then the explosion of the red pill philosophies and MGTOW philosophy, all that shit. Because remember, gentlemen, these philosophies reach government level. It reached the Canadian Parliament. And is not stopping anytime soon. And I will definitely explain in detail what I'm talking about. But before we begin, let's see if I can ask somebody. Oh, nope, not yet. Okay, you guys are gonna be chill with me for a bit. Maybe the Gray Ghost is gonna come on. I'll let you guys know. If you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, there is a link on top of the chat. Cash App / Sir Yeetus. Any type of donation is appreciated. But if you can, it's all good, okay? Because it's all about the message right now. It's all about the message. Right now, I want to speak on this particular subject because this is what I mean by hard times create strong men. Everything that I'm going to be speaking on right now is just going to trickle down into the main topic. This is the most recent situation that happened. The beloved Power Ranger, the Green Ranger. Oh man, I love the old school Power. I watch a shit ton of Power Rangers when I was a kid, not anymore. But you guys get what I'm talking about. He tragically yeeted himself, right? And all these people like, oh man, oh, rest in peace, Jason, David Frank. Well, you were the greatest in Power Rangers, blah blah blah. But they don't want to talk about the underlying issue on why he possibly yeeted himself. They don't want to talk about it. But don't worry, I'm here to talk about it. Because he recently got his second divorce. And you guys already know how nasty divorces can get. You guys know this. Let's read this right quick. I don't know if you guys can see it, but look on the left side on the Google search. He married his first wife in 1994, and then the couple had 2 sons and a daughter. They divorced in 2001. First divorce. Divorce is never good for a man, right? But let's go to his second marriage. In 2003, he married his second wife, Tammy, and the couple had 1 daughter. In 2022, Tammy filed for divorce. 2 divorces. 2 divorce. Listen. I don't know if you guys ever had to deal with a divorce, and I hope you guys never have to deal with divorce. Because I'm telling you right now, the judge, the divorce lawyer, the state, your ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, are all working together to see how much money they can take from you and how long. How long you can be an obedient wage slave. Who knows if he had to pay child support or alimony? That information I do not know. But I don't personally, right? Because I don't know for sure why he yeeted himself. But this can't be a coincidence right here. He just recently had a divorce a few months ago. He had a question. Dynamic. Could red pill have saved him? Oh, completely. If somebody actually brought him to the side and say, "Hey, marriage ain't worth it, man. You need to focus on you." Okay, the end of the road is in marriage, and that's another thing that I want to talk about. Right, I'm gonna keep this image up because I want you guys to soak it in because this isn't the first statistic of a man yeeting himself because of him getting dragged through divorce and family courts. Okay, there's countless men in the West that contemplates or actually went through yeeted themselves because they got completely screwed. They got financially and emotionally, mentally ruined because their entire life was destroyed, all because his wife was quote unquote not happy, or his wife was the one that cheated, but she still was able to take the house, the car, the kids, the dogs, etc. Right? And I'm gonna name another famous person that yeeted himself, and that person is Robin Williams. Robin Williams is another person that yeeted himself, and people are saying it's because of mental health. It's because of mental health. He was going through some stuff. I'm like, huh. Let me go ahead and dig in a little bit deeper. He had multiple marriages, and he had to pay a buttload, a shit ton of money per month to at least two of his two ex-wives. All right, I know my accuracy is kind of off, but I know that he had to pay a shit ton of alimony to multiple wives. I think one of them was 100K a month, which I thought was kind of weird that Robert Williams was working so hard into his late age, and he's not chilling, enjoying his retirement or enjoying his twilight years. He was still doing a shit ton of movies all the way up until his old age, until his death. But gentlemen, nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about this. Oh, I didn't even know about that too. Oh, snap. Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. Favorite person to watch on TV. If I'm not watching Bizarre Foods, that was a OG show back in the day. I'm always watching Anthony Bourdain and his traveling show where he's trying different foods and stuff. Awesome dude. But I did not know that his wife took everything from him. I did not know that he went through a divorce himself. I did not know that. You see what I'm talking about, gentlemen? You see what I'm talking about? And right now, nobody till this day wants to truly address these situations. They always want to say, "Oh, he was just depressed. He was just mentally ill. Okay, he was just very deep in his depression." I'm like, okay, so what caused that? What was the reason? Why won't you tell me the reason? And then when you do a little research, oh, okay, the wife just completely demolished him. It ruined his life financially. It took the kids, and then bam, it's over. Because here's the thing, gentlemen. Here's the thing, and this is why I truly believe that the manosphere did have a great purpose. Okay, the reason why the manosphere was created. Okay, because there's countless men out there that was taught growing up, thinking, "Hey, if I get married, that's it. That's the end goal." Right? He was taught by his mother and the weak father that worshiping and worshiping women and marrying a woman, revolving his life around a woman is his end goal, right? So once he puts a ring on this woman, oh, everything is bliss. He completed his life purpose. Now he can just focus on mowing the lawn and going to work until he dies. That's what countless men have been taught for decades. But as soon as they got dragged through the ringer, right? As soon as they lose everything through the courts, their their life's purpose is over. It's over. They were never taught about anything beyond marriage, right? Because they were taught that marriage was the end goal. So now they're sitting outside the courthouse looking like a fucking idiot. Like damn, everything was just taken away from me just like that. What do I do now? I don't have a purpose. I don't have an identity. And then unfortunately there are men are saying, you know what? Second time's a charm. Let's see if I can do it again. Maybe the first time was a mistake. Maybe she wasn't my first love. Let me go ahead and go around a second time and put a ring on another girl's finger. And then they go through the divorce again. Again. So now they're looking like a bigger fucking idiot sitting outside the courthouse. Like, damn, what the fuck is going on? And that's when the downward spiral begins, right? Yeah, I know it could begin in the first divorce, but the second divorce, yeah, a downward spiral will definitely begin, right? Because the financial burdens that he possibly has to go through, he can't get out of it. He can't get out of the financial burdens, right? For at least decades to come. Worst comes to worst, for the rest of his life, he will be financially burdened by the state and the ex-wife or ex-wives. What man wouldn't be depressed? He had everything planned for the future when they hit old age. Once they hit retirement, they could go travel the world as an old couple and, happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. And then all those decades that he's been busting his ass to make sure that happens has been taken away from him. Now, the only thing that he has to focus on, because he has no choice or he'll be thrown in jail, is alimony payments, possibly child support. And it's even worse if it's multiple wives that man has to deal with. So of course, these men are going to have a very dark perspective of life. I do not wish this on no man. This is why I say this manosphere group, I believe, is necessary. Yeah, I know we got a shit ton of fuckers that comes into the space and just cause drama, cause bullshit, literally has nothing to offer, right? They just want to come in and ruin shit. They want to come into the space and corrupt. But for the people that actually gives a damn about men, our message is necessary. Because I guarantee you, countless men out there that went through the divorce and family courts, they didn't know. They didn't know they had the option of not getting married. Because they've been raised all their lives that, oh, marriage is the only way. Marriage is the only option. But channels like us saying, hey, you could get married. You could have kids. You could cohabitate with a woman. But before you do, let me show you the good and the bad side of these choices. Let me show you the consequences, the negative consequences that can possibly occur if you make these choices. And I'm not saying you can't get married. I'm not saying you can't have a wife or kids. But I'd much rather you go and make a decision and you're well informed than you being blind and gullible. You're pretty much like a cow going to a slaughterhouse. You're not even realizing per se that you're going to get royally screwed. I'm just saying, gentlemen. I'm just saying. Because once again, I cannot force you. I can't force you what you can and cannot do with your life. I can't. Right? You're a man. I'm a man. We all men. Us men, we have to make our own choices. Right? We all follow our own path. But I'd rather you follow a path that you're well informed about the consequences of those choices. And you're willing to accept the consequences of those choices. Because that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest issue that modern women have. And some men too. You make all these decisions, you make all these choices, but you're not willing to accept the consequences behind it. Jabba these nuts. A question to ask though is what all would need to be changed about the marriage divorce system so that it can be more appealing, less risky for men to get married. Uh, take away child support, take away alimony, or at least greatly reduce it because those women can get a job. Make the marriage laws definitely way more fair. Well, you know that's not going to happen. You know that's not going to happen because the state heavily relies on alimony, on child support, on taking half your assets. Because the state gets a big slice of those payments. The traditional definition of marriage is no more. Now, marriage today is just a business. Marriage today, you're pretty much okay. You as a man, you pretty much looked at as a target, okay? Because right now, things are gonna get bad. It's gonna get real bad, and you know this. Not right away, but very slowly. At least when it comes to the economy, it's gonna get bad. So when that happens, I guarantee that there will be a shit ton of baby trapping going around. A shit ton of women asking men in hand in marriage. A shit ton of homosexuals, female homosexuals, trying to live in the man's house as she knows about the common laws, knowing that the state will recognize you and the girl as being married, depending on how long you guys live together. But, gentlemen, you already know that's not going to happen. Why? I keep telling the only delusion that I speak of is I say until I see women protesting in front of the courts, demanding fair laws between men and women, get rid of child support, get rid of alimony, etc. Until I see women in front of those courts demanding that to happen, I will never take a feminist or a trad thought seriously. Ever. Because they all have the capability of fucking you over. Right? A modern woman can still drag you in the courtroom. So-called proclaimed conservative woman, traditional woman, can still take you to the courts and destroy you. A lot of men they don't think about that. They don't think about that. That's why once again, when I see all these men sipping over these women that comes into our space and proclaim that I'm not like these other guys. I'm not like these other girls. Yeah, you are. Because every woman in the United States that is married has a capability to to destroy a man through marriage or child support, whatever it is. Men should not be gullible. I keep telling you, when a woman turns off her camera after she's done being in our space, she's no different than the rest of them. She's no different than any other woman. All right, all of them are carbon copies to me because all of them has the capability of making my life hell. All of them has the capability, feminist or traditional woman, has the capability of false allegations, capability of smear campaign, trying to destroy your reputation, capability of pinning a baby on you that's not even yours. And the list goes on. We say AWOL for a reason. We say AWOL for a reason, gentlemen, because, like I said, you don't know. She can wake up one day, because remember how we talk about it, gentlemen. Women, they primarily base their decisions on emotions. So whether it's a feminist or whether it's a traditional woman, she can wake up one day and say, I'm not happy, and fuck you over in the divorce and family courts. As simple as that. As simple as that. That's one of many reasons why the passport bros movement is getting bigger by the day. Because, yeah, we all know how women are when it comes to the female nature, right? We know, stay red pill, stay aware no matter where you go in the world. But at least in different parts of the world, it's way more difficult for a woman to just wake up and one day be like, I'm bored of you. Let me go to another man and I'm taking the kids. No, in certain countries, it is very difficult to get a divorce. It's very difficult to take away the kids. And you're definitely not getting alimony. And you possibly get itty bitty child support. The laws are more fair. If you as a woman cannot take care of the kids on your own, then they will give the kids to the father. Because the father has the resources. People love to say, oh, why are these men going overseas? You just can't handle me. You just can't do this. Oh, you're not man enough. You're just a little boy. No. Once again, we've been saying this for years. The game is rigged. The system is rigged. Why do we want to play a game that can't be won? Why do we want to play a game that no matter what you do, you lose? Why do we want to sign a contract, a government contract, a marriage contract, and then when you read the contract, it says in big bold letters, we are going to screw you over and make you a wage slave? Why would any sane man want to sign that? Of course, the passport bros movement is going to get bigger. Of course. Men in the West are getting attacked from all sides. Anytime a man walks outside, it's a dangerous environment in the Western world right now. It doesn't matter if you're not even doing anything wrong. Because there's situations where a person was literally doing nothing and he still got falsely accused of sexual harassment or rape. and he was facing decades in prison. And that person didn't do anything. Another situation I'm sure you guys heard about all the time. A man could literally be doing nothing, and all of a sudden, he's getting calls from the courthouse saying, hey, you need to start paying your child support. Hey, you need to start paying that child support, bro. You're behind on $20,000 in child support payments. Like, what the fuck? I have a child. What are you talking about? Then it turns out that some random woman that you never met in your life, she put your name on the birth certificate. I don't know how that's even possible, but she put your name on the birth certificate. You never touched her. You don't even know who she is, but the courts don't give a fuck because they want their money. So now you're liable of a kid that's not even yours. And the woman that said it was yours, you never even touched. Of course, the Passport Bros movement is going to get bigger. Like, I can easily keep going. Easily. This is horrible, gentlemen. This is horrible that Jason David Frank had to go out in this manner. It's horrible. And nobody wants to talk about the core reasons why. We already know, gentlemen, that hard times will come. We know that this is only the tip of the iceberg. We know this. That's why I really do hope that out of 199 streams that I've made and a shit ton of shorts that I've made, and the content that you saw from the Warband, the content that you saw from Hammerhand, Sandman, TFM, etc. I really do hope that you have enough knowledge to realize that, damn, things are not going to end well in my lifetime when it comes to society as a whole. Because you should know that if you break down the traditional family, if you break down the nuclear family, it's going to ripple and it's going to tear apart society eventually. It's going to make a huge domino effect. You tear down the nuclear family, right? Husband, father, husband, wife, kids. Destroy that, and then it's going to echo throughout society. And you guys are already seeing it today. It's just so annoying. It's just so annoying that out of all the evidence that the manosphere has pushed out, women don't give a fuck. It's either women don't give a fuck, women just don't want to listen, they only listen to respond. We get censored by big media because we are going against their narrative. It's crazy, gentlemen. It's crazy. But hey, y'all, I am definitely going to invite the one, the great ghost, he's gonna be hopping on in a bit because I know he has a decent amount to say as well. But before I let him in, oh shit. Okay, yeah, before I let him in, there's another show time if you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus. There's a link on top of the chat. Cash App / Sir Yeetus. Any type of donation is appreciated. And if you can't, it's all good. It's okay. Because this stream is going to take a couple hours anyway. I have a lot to say. At least until Hammerhand stream comes on. I got a lot to say. The Great Ghost, what's going on, man?
Hey, I just had dinner. Starting to get ready for my own stream later tonight, so gonna be a bit packed and probably be competing with Hammerhand, but whatever.
I'll go compete with him. Oh yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, no. I'll be like he's 720. I'll be starting at 8, so.
But
Here's what it is.
Based on what I've said so far, what do you think about? The hard times are going to come, but what do you think about what I just said?
Well, I think we're seeing the hard times start to slip in more and more, and as we've seen with other streams where like winter is arriving for women right now. Like this is definitely the hardcore cuffing season where women are grabbing on to the nearest man that they can tie down and screwing with them. And well, guys are learning, but they're not learning fast enough. So they're gonna have to suffer. And it's funny, like this is the first thing I've seen exactly why he's dead. So far all day it's just been Green Ranger's dead. Green Ranger's dead. It's like, oh. I figured okay, it was like whatever. People are dropping dead. But now it's like, well no, it's suicide in the wake of a divorce. I was like, oh. Oh yeah, that detail's been curiously left out of most coverage.
And it's all good. We know that we can't save everybody. We know. There's going to be people that will refuse to see reality for what it is, or they're just so weak-minded that they're just going to stay blue-pilled.
Oh yeah, no, I know one guy who's like this is the funny thing with like the term hobosexual going around because. It's like I don't know, like it just doesn't feel appropriate because to me a hobosexual would be someone attracted to homeless people. It would be the equivalent of a woman taking a man in because he doesn't have any options and he needs a roof over his head.
Okay, so what would you say about when women won't really have any options when the economy starts getting dicey? What would you call them then?
I would call them duomo-sexuals.
What?
Duomo. Or, let's see what the exact. Like the Latin word for like housing, for a house. A duomo, a dwelling.
You see, hey, before you continue, I'm gonna address this. Look at this troll right here.
I guess it'd be domosexual or something.
Hey, but give me 1 second, Greg. Give me 1 second. He says no woman would touch you guys with a 10-foot pole. Keep coping. Okay, first off, why are you here? If that's the case, and number two, We don't want you guys to touch us in the first place. You guys are gross. You guys are walking petri dishes. You guys are fucking 304s for a reason. We don't want to. There's a reason why this space exists in the first place. Okay, so
Yeah,
we can
like
avoid women like
we
you.
don't come here because we're trying to get closer to women. We're doing this because we're trying. Like, if we could get freaking 10 feet of coverage from women guaranteed in all directions, our lives would probably be a lot easier.
She's like misogynist. Okay, telling the truth about women and their bullshit. Yeah, okay, I guess. Like, if that's what you think the definition is, y'all just don't like being called out. It's all good though. We don't expect you to accept accountability
Yeah.
anyway. It's not in your nature.
Actually reminds me of a Boondocks clip. let me.
Oh shit!
I can't play that shit on stream. But let me see if I can find the video clip and send it to you.
Okay, but you see what I'm seeing? You see what I'm saying, gentlemen? They don't even come here to try to listen and understand to our talking points. They just come up in here and just talk mad shit, say incel, misogynist, blah 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 blah, thinking that they magically we're gonna wake up like, oh, damn, okay, all right, let me just go head back to the plantation then. Let me just go ahead and be a beta bitch now. They really think that's gonna work? Like it makes no fucking sense to me, but. It does make sense because women love to shame when they don't get their way. They love to say, "Oh, they don't want you anyway. Oh, you just a little boy. Oh, you just okay." And so, get away from me. How dare you? It's
there we insane. Go. I found the clip. Oh my god, it's just too good.
All right, go. Yeah,
it's like 5 seconds. Please. I'm gonna send it to you on Discord. Just replace the keyword with woman and it makes sense.
Okay. Oh god. Okay, I know what that is.
Yep.
I know that scene.
Yeah, no, listen to the exact dialogue. It's worth it.
Yeah, I should, Hammerhand. I should charge these trolls because at this point, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious at this point. They really think that they're doing something now.
That's why we got to get. That's why we got to get that Streamlabs stuff monetized. That way, if they want to send in like a text-to-speech chat, at the very least, they got to pay for it.
But back to the topic at hand, then. When I also say about hard times, and we talked about this over and over again, but we're going to emphasize this situation. Since everything is rigged against men, everything is designed to pretty much put men down or make men become, emotional, weak, frail wage slaves, whatever it is. They don't believe that there will be a lot of men refusing to fight if World War III does come around. They really believe that there will be a shit ton of men willing to fight.
And that's the curious thing because, like, population demographic wise, keep in mind, the majority of the population right now is old by military standards.
Agreed.
Like, sure, again, you've done military. Imagine, like if you went to your recruiting center and you found out that a full half of your recruits were over the age of 40.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. That is not good. You
have maybe if we went from like 16 and up, you got maybe 20 years of actual potential decent service, like 16 to 36. That sound reasonable?
Repeat that one more time.
16 to 36 as optimal military age.
Yes.
So that's the thing. So it's of all the people who are willing to fight in World War III. I don't give a shit how many fucking trad cut boomers 50 plus say that they gladly fight and die for their country. I need motherfuckers that can march like 10 miles every day through the snow, right?
Yeah. But good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Like I'm sorry, the amount of fucking 50-plus-year-olds who smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Yeah, like those are the guys who I'm really gonna put my fucking trust and faith in. No, you're gonna have to look at the 16 to 36 demographic. It's like if you don't have a majority, or at least a significant amount of your 16 to 36-year-old male demographic, then you don't have a military.
Yeah, you definitely don't have a military at all. It'll be pathetic. And on top of that, good luck with the upcoming men, the Gen Zs. They're not men at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you look at the current demographic of people who are 16 to 36. Like, I'm sorry, your fucking IT office worker who's used to bowing and scraping, that ain't military material.
No, not at all. Not at all. Even before I left the military, there's already the youngins. They don't do as they're told, the lawful orders and all that stuff. They always want to question, whine, bitch, moan about the simplest task. Now imagine when there's bullets, grenades, mortars, ballistic missiles flying around like it's the 4th of July. You really think that these youngins are going to be able to follow orders under combat? Hell to the fucking no.
Like, there's plenty of people that can't even follow fucking orders just working outdoors.
They might do TikTok dances.
Yeah, or they might pull like funny pranks and shit. But like honestly, I'm thinking of like some of those. Haha, look at these idiots in Afghanistan that don't know what they're doing. It's showing like some of the Middle Eastern weekend warriors or whatever, and they're not loading RPGs properly and whatnot. Like, wonder what would happen if we got to look at the current military bases.
Yeah, don't get me started, man. But I'm not saying that I'm all Rambo and shit. I'm not saying that I'm the big bad wolf. Hell yeah, I'm gonna be freaking out under combat, but at least I'll be able to be hardened enough and focused enough to get the job done, right? I can't see these new youngins coming in. I can't see them doing that. I can't.
No.
Like,
And
did you see the arms? It's like a stick.
Like, I ain't exactly nearly as jacked as my avatar would lead one to believe. So I was like, look, if you're weaker than my ass out there, that's pretty fucking sad.
It is. It is very sad. And once again, that's why the military as a whole is struggling hardcore. For another year in a row, they weren't able to meet the quota of the amount of people join the military. They missed another quota.
They missed another quota. And they're saying like, oh well, we're gonna get all the trans women. The trans women are still technically eligible for the draft. They're still technically men. It's like, okay. So you want to get the guys that have been pumping estrogen into themselves for God knows how long?
Hell no.
Like that's the thing. Is like what's next? You're gonna hire the cripples? You're gonna make it so that being wheelchair bound doesn't exclude you from military service?
No.
That's where it's going. Like, I mean, honestly, I trust the motherfucker in the wheelchair more than the one who's been taking estrogen for a couple years.
That is true. I did see some like very fit dudes, jack dudes. That's in wheelchairs. So I'd much rather take that person. But
Like, I'd still
he
take the dude in the
says
wheelchair because he can fucking sit in the armory and do inventory. There's still a use for that kind of person.
that is true. But M Master says Yeetus is not just their arms. Have you seen their legs? I don't think they
Ugh.
walk more than 100 yards. Uh, I agree. Like
Oh, God.
they look like lanky. I don't know how to explain it. It's
Weird.
like borderline anorexic type situation. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'll give them one thing. You know, they can run right because they weigh like 100 pounds. But when it comes to the like uh muscle endurance, you know, strength endurance and all that stuff, trash, trash.
yeah, it's
You
like,
know,
look, because here's the thing. It doesn't matter how far you can run while naked. What matters is how far you can run while carrying a full pack of fucking gear.
agreed. Especially you have to focus on cover and concealment and getting from uh, uh, cover to cover under live fire, and you possibly have to carry your injured battle buddy with all his armor and equipment.
Yeah, like,
If I see some 110-pound blue-haired Gen Z coming at me when I'm injured on the battlefield, I'll tell them just let me die.
let's be honest. You're not going to see them running towards you on the battlefield. The fucking blue-haired Gen Z is going to be running in the opposite fucking direction.
Oh no, they'll run towards me if they can make a TikTok video out of it. If they can make it go viral. You know how it is. You know how people they tend to use people's deaths or dying situations as clout.
They're going to see if they could become the new Jake Paul or whatever.
Literally. Like they'll put on like some dramatic sad music while you know I'm here bleeding to death, you know, saying, "Oh man, bro, damn, my homeboy went down. He doesn't have the Riz or whatever the fuck kids say these days." Like,
Yeah, try to reenact some dramatic no scene in a movie. So you get this guy who runs up to you, pulls out his camera, starts weeping and sobbing over your body, then returns completely back to normal. It's like, nah, it wasn't quite that. Here, you're still dying? Okay, 1 second, 1 second. We'll get this right. We'll get this right. Take two.
don't die on me yet. Oh shit! But it's gonna be crazy. Like, thank God that you know we have a good enough how you say technology and weaponry to make up for the lack of testosterone that we have in our militaries today. Like that's our only saving grace.
I mean, it does help to a certain extent because rather than needing like 3 guys to run a freaking machine gun around, technically it can be carried by one person rather than everyone needing bolt action rifles and service revolvers. So, I mean, technically.
Oh yeah, I was talking about like, you know, the big ass you know, warships and, you know, our Air Force and all these, you know, heavy duty weaponry that the US has. You know, that's literally the saving grace on why there hasn't been like a attack on us yet.
Well,
Because
but at the
it's
same,
literally damn near impossible to even get close to the United States.
well, that's the thing, but it's not even, it's not like it's allowing the younger people to function. It's just meaning that the older people can be relevant longer.
Honestly, at this point, I truly believe that a civil war will happen first before anything else big happens. Personally, because that's the sweet spot. That's that right moment.
That's the thing. Like, for there to be a civil war, there would need to be organization along the lines.
There won't be at first, but eventually it'll come together.
That's the thing. It just not being a civil war buff, like, and even then, the civil war had like outside countries interfering on top of the established conflict.
Yeah, because it will technically be a proxy war with foreign nations. Like the Russians be like, hey, you need some AK-47s. Here, here. Just take it as a gift. Just don't forget. Don't forget what I got you. I'll be back. Oh shit.
Yeah. Now, personally, I don't know. Just Civil War. It just seems like it's too organized for the chaos that I'm expecting. Like I just expect raw chaos rather than any sort of actual organized conflict and holding of territory.
Oh, like I said before, there's going to be chaos at first, but eventually they will be organized. Not like straight up military organized, but there'll be unconventional warfare organized.
But that's the thing. But you need some sort of unifying, like, power in order to coordinate.
It's possible
Because at this point, because like by a certain definition, you may as well say that the Civil War has already happened with BLM and Antifa.
Well, no. I'm talking about full-fledged civil war, like full-fledged.
But that's the
And
thing. Like
what I'm saying is, uh, it's possible to have an organized, unconventional group, like guerrilla warfare type situation. We're not going to be all proper or have like crazy battle plans and all that shit, but there still will be a hierarchy. But it would just be like, hey, we're gonna attack this place right here. You go that way, you go that way. Let's see how it goes.
That's the thing. It's just that seems too small scale for anything that I'd call Civil War. Like, and the depth of communication on top of that, because like we're not exactly dealing. The era of technology is so disconnected from the last Civil War. Like, keep in mind, for the conflict in Ukraine to continue right now requires Starlink to keep the Ukrainian communications open. So, which side in the Civil War are the techies going to be on? Because those are the ones that are actually going to have phone service. Everyone else is going to be, at best, using ham radio.
Personally, it depends on what happens when it comes to the military as a whole. Because even the military will have to choose sides. There will be people that will be like, you know what? I'm here to defend the Constitution of the United States, not the government. And if the government goes too far, there will be a split.
If there's any military people that actually held that position still, I'm pretty sure they're on the chopping block.
No. What I'm saying is, like we say at the beginning, there will be complete chaos. It will be complete chaos. But eventually, I truly do believe if the Civil War like prolongs and people start drawing their lines, there will be some form of organization. It won't be fully perfect or whatever, but there will be some form of, okay, I'm fighting on this side, they're fighting on that side. I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, but eventually give it like a year or two or a few years.
No, I can't see it being anything resembling remotely symmetrical warfare. I think it would be far more like the Vietnam conflict, where you have one side that's got all the tech and most of the military support, and then you have the guerrillas living out in the woods. That's the kind of civil war that I'd expect. You're going to have one side with all the advantages and the other side that's just picking at them from the shadows, trying to fuck with them and destabilize them.
I see what you're saying. But I still say that there will be some type of organization.
That's the thing.
There will be a person or a group of people that will rally the Vietnam group together, because somebody is going to have to answer to somebody. I do believe there still will be some type of
keep in mind you've seen what happens in the Middle East every time you get some sort of charismatic leader bringing together a guerrilla group.
Oh, they have a target on their backs.
They have a target on their fucking everything. Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Well, what I'm saying is, as like things go nuts, I truly agree that it would just be a fucking shit show, because nobody knows what's going on. it's not gonna be a good time if there was a civil war.
That's the thing. I just don't see civil war as being an accurate description of what the heck's going to go.
No, it's not gonna be a balanced playing field. I agree with you on that one. Because in the last American Civil War, it was technically an even playing field. But yeah, I agree. In the 21st century, it will be a very lopsided situation. Very lopsided.
Like, you're basically going to have rebels. Like, rebels on U.S. soil disrupting the existing society to a certain extent.
But wouldn't that be a U.S. The NATO Ukraine situation all over again, where foreign nations like donate, like, hey rebels, here's some stuff. It won't be as good as the
no, but that's the thing. But Ukraine, no, like, it's different. Ukraine is its own separate country with its own separate trade routes. Keep in mind the geography of the U.S. means that they only have two methods of overland supply: Canada and Mexico. Like, if anything, I'd say the only nation that could actually supply the U.S. with military hardware would be through the South, because Canada's so fucking cucked. There's no way that they're going to support the anti-establishment faction.
Well, various countries do have links to the South, so I can definitely see that happening. Oh yeah, damn, yeah, I did forget about that. Mercenaries. I forgot about that. But it's a complicated situation. It'll be a complete rabbit hole we'd be going down to. It's not even funny. Like, I can go all night talking about this because I am passionate about these type of topics.
Yeah, no, but I was talking like the Ukraine-Russia situation isn't comparable to a rebellion or a civil war.
No, I was just saying proxy war in general.
Yeah, but again, like, it's because of the national boundaries. As you know, the first thing that the U.S. would do if there was even a hint of foreign interference aiding the non-establishment would be that they'd shut down and start inspecting every single piece of air traffic that they could. And they'd have the Coast Guard running up and down both sides. So the only way that you're going to smuggle things into the U.S. is overland, meaning it would have to come through Mexico.
Which I can see it happening. Like, isn't like BRICS or whatever alliances, some of them are from South America?
Could be. I don't know the details myself.
It's a complicated situation, but it's something that we can definitely talk about, especially on the 200th episode of the stream, because it's going to be a very long stream, not going to lie, but it'll be a great one. But going back to the way beginning, if I can remember what we were talking about, similar to the stories of the Romans when they dropped their sword and shields and didn't do anything, and or joined the barbarians that were at the gate. That's also eventually may be a factor in the future.
Well, we know that it's going to be a factor because if conflict does come, how many people who live within the U.S. actually have a vested interest in protecting the U.S.?
They're the minority.
Like, let me put it this way. The people who would most be interested in protecting the system are the people currently on welfare.
Agreed. And even then, they possibly don't know how to. No, they most likely don't know how to shoot any weapons.
I'm not talking about their competency. I'm just saying, like, this is the demographic that would fight to protect the existing government. And that's the people whose lives are currently financed by it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, good luck with that.
No, and that's the thing. Like, that's the key problem, is because the people that you would most need in the event of a conflict within or without either from within the US or with some sort of barbarian at the gate. The people who you need the most are the people who are currently the least invested in the system and who would benefit the most from its destruction. That's objectively a bad position for the government to be in.
I agree. And besides, I don't think, well, long term, Social Security will run out. It's a straight up Ponzi scheme. It's not gonna be around for long. I'm telling you right now, gentlemen. If you see Social Security on your check, just count it as a loss. Because if you're around my age, you're most likely not going to see it in your lifetime.
Like, here's the thing: Social Security is only going to be around as long as they can continue using it to buy the majority of votes.
True. And it will be very difficult for them to see. Here's why I say it's not going to be around for long, because gentlemen, like we said for the last couple streams, the statistic, and I will bring it up, but 45% of women are going to be technically not married by 2030, right? So just assume that within 20 years, and let's push it to even 25 years, there's going to be a shit ton of older single women, right? Especially elderly. And the more single elderly women goes up, depending on Social Security, and they're the ones that decided to abort a shit ton of babies throughout the years, we don't have enough workers to even replenish the Social Security stash. You guys get what I'm saying? And on top of that, there's still going to be more and more men walking away. So it's definitely slowly but surely will be a collapse when it comes to the workers cannot replace the amount of, older people, right? Like they can't support the elderly eventually.
Well, they already can't. That's why we see all this inflation.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's going to be much worse.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a question of how fast will inflation accelerate, and are they going to put the brakes on it by cutting out welfare programs? Guarantee you it's going to happen under like Republican presidency / control of the House, because the conservatives are always the scapegoats for this kind of stuff.
Agreed. I completely agree by that. And that's why I say, gentlemen, in the coming years, there will be a shit ton of baby trapping, and there will be a shit ton of women asking men in hand in marriage. It's going to increase, right? On some Isaiah 4:1 shit. If you're a man of value, there will be a shit ton of women coming to you in hopes that you will take them in and assume responsibility for, finances and stuff. But I guarantee you, many men of value will downright refuse, or they will be nowhere to be found. It's already bad enough that women outnumber men.
Yeah, no, I'm just seeing this chat. David M. Social Security is self-supporting. The government isn't taking their funds for years. No, it's not. Social Security trusted that most people would die before they claimed it.
Yeah, they didn't expect life expectancy to reach the fucking 80s and 90s.
People are supposed to be literally working themselves to death. You're not supposed to get retirement. But most people are supposed to, by the math of Social Security, die before they retire. So no, Social Security has not been self-sustaining for ages. I don't know exactly when, but maybe when it was invented, they ran the numbers and thought it'd be fine. But then people started living into their 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And so they're like, shit, now we got all these old people we got to take care of. We need more babies. And that's what they're currently are pushing for right now, right? But
what's the thing? They're not even no, it's the thing. Babies. They don't even want the babies. They want workers. Like, if women could pop out 16-year-olds, that's all they'd want. Because it costs the government a fair bit of money to raise a fucking brat from a baby to actual tax contribution age. That's
And
why there's all this immigration.
And that's why there's the fucking divorce and family courts are so heavily relied on. Because it takes a lot of pressure off of the state's shoulders. Gentlemen, it's a whole fucking domino effect.
Well, and the other thing is that when all these kids are raised by single mothers, they don't become tax contributors. They themselves become tax drains.
Agreed.
I'm
Why
sorry,
do you say?
your fucking your criminal population is not a major tax contributor.
Oh hell no, they leech off the system hardcore. I see it personally when I was growing up.
So, no.
But
So, like, the government decided, oh hey, we need to control all the kids to serve the government, so we better take the men out of the household. Now, I don't know how much of this was intentional or unintentional, but that created what they thought would be a good, obedient worker drone population, and instead they created a bunch of criminals and welfare leeches. And I was like, ah, shit, well, this is more expensive. So now we got to bring in a whole bunch of immigrants in order to do that. And then, oh shit, rather than assimilate into the system, the immigrants are just living super minimalist lives and sending all the money out of the country.
yeah. And gentlemen, you need to understand why all these people are calling our sphere, calling the people that are in this sphere a bunch of extremists. Because in their eyes, we're doing some major damage by not participating in this system.
That's the thing. It's like they've already lost so much of the male population. Like, these ideas are not new or radical by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, we're probably pretty tame in comparison to the past couple hundred years. Just that now they don't have that same pool of obedient, productive worker drones, and it's entirely due to them trying to gain more control over the population.
Yes, gentlemen, why do you think that when the Roe v. Wade was revoked, automatically states like Ohio put in a law saying that a woman can sue a man if she unintentionally gets pregnant? She can sue him for child support while the baby is still in her. Yes, gentlemen. Like, how much proof do you need at this point? How much proof do you need? This is why they fucking completely despise red pill, and it's 100 times worse when it comes to men going their own way.
They need to keep men enslaved to the system to continue working, to continue providing value and paying in taxes in order to just try to keep things going a little bit longer. And the irony of the whole situation is that if they just backed off and stopped putting the squeeze on men, men would naturally, for their own benefit, do everything that the government needs them to do in order to keep things running.
Agreed. Because if men just out of nowhere, just like, you know what, I don't feel like doing this shit no more, just walk away, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. Men know.
Like, if the government turned around tomorrow and said, you know what, we're getting rid of alimony, getting rid of child support, we are staying completely out of marriage, we're cutting welfare, and we're cutting Social Security to keep taxes down, and we're lowering business and employee tax. They did all that shit tomorrow, you'd see productivity skyrocket. You'd see men getting married in fucking droves. And you'd see women's standards drop like a goddamn stone because they lost all their fucking safety measures.
A bunch of feminists will just fucking have a heart attack.
They'd have a heart attack, but then they put on their TradCon clothes and get into the kitchen and start making sandwiches and popping out kids. They might be fucking downy babies and half autistic and completely fucked due to all the medical shit. But they would at least be going through the motions. And you'd have most of these problems start to correct within a couple generations. But the government ain't going to give up the control.
Well, a similar effect would be just make women sign up for the draft. I think that would be a similar effect. Women be like, whoa, whoa, slow down there, buckaroo. I don't mind being a housewife now.
SCE, like, look, there's a difference between me understanding what a top-down effect would do and expecting a top-down effect to happen. Like what I just proposed there, that's not going to happen. Not by a long shot. No one with those kind of ideas would be put anywhere near a position of authority to enact them. Would not happen ever in the slightest, and putting any faith in that is foolish. But it would probably get the fucking job done if it could happen. Like if you had the Dragon Balls and could make a fucking wish or something. But I'm not gonna put my hope in fucking magic wishes.
Agreed. I'm gonna adjust this quickly. Nobody needs anybody, man or woman. Let's keep it simple. Biology. Okay. I'm gonna explain this right quick. Okay. Men need women for reproduction. Women need men for reproduction and survival. That's it. The most basic explanation I can give you. Take it how you want to take it. Because I'm tired of explaining to females that only wants to argue and not try to understand.
Like nobody needs anybody. Like no,
That's
if
fucking.
you had to provide everything for yourself, every woman and most men would die.
Pretty much. But what kind of delusional fairy tale fucking utopia you living in that you even came up with that type of sentence?
Yeah.
What the fuck? It makes no sense.
Poorly thought out and takes all the amenities in society for granted.
Exactly. Like
probably the same kind of person that thinks that meat just comes in neat little packages and doesn't actually come from an animal.
Hey, what do you think this beef comes from? Oh, it just magically appears at the grocery store. Oh man, oh man, it's ridiculous. Hey, they're coming out of the woodwork today. God damn, I didn't have these many trolls in a minute. Very interesting. I wonder why. Damn you, Susan.
God, no. But then the extra thing is like, no one needs anybody, man or woman. It's like, okay. Like going beyond the whole whether or not men or women need each other as a whole. Like again, nobody needing anybody. Like no, like I'm a man and I'm comfortable admitting that I need a shit ton of people to be keeping the internet running, to be keeping the power running, the gas running, the water running, keeping the fucking roads plowed. Like, my God, if I had to fucking snow shovel my way without anyone else doing anything just to try and get to the job. Oh, yeah, I also need an employer to manage a whole part of the business that I work at in order to keep steady income rolling through. Like, if you told me tomorrow that I was going to get support from absolutely no other human on the planet, I'd honestly be shocked if I survived 24 hours.
Yeah, that would be a very quick adventure that you'll have.
Freaking power's gone, water's gone. I didn't build the house that I'm in right now, so like it would go to immediate wilderness survival. And I'd probably be competing with everyone else around me also in wilderness survival mode, and they got more guns than I do. So, no, like, society runs off of mutual cooperation. But if you were going to be like, okay, well, what if we divided it into men helping men and then women helping women? Oh, well, in that case, all the men are going to be completely fine because things will keep running and they'll still be productive and they won't have to pay for all these tax rates. Meanwhile, women would be out in the cold starving to death because women didn't build their houses. Women don't keep the electricity or water or gas running. Like
They
if it
don't
were to
got the
happen in
physical
Canada,
capabilities.
like they couldn't provide it on their own. So, no, like if men could only support men and women could only support women, women would be dead out on the streets within a day.
Agreed. And what Nemesis says, I feel the same as Sir Yeetus. Tired. I mean, not tired. Tried to explain to females every time they require men assistance to survive. Basic biology. It's fucking basic. Like, I don't know what's so confusing about it, you know. But remember, gentlemen, if you want to make a woman angry, tell her the truth. They didn't build houses where they live in, for example. No, they don't, right? And I'm not saying that they don't have the capability. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule, but it's a very tiny, 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 tiny exception. Very tiny, like so tiny, it's not even funny.
No. Here's the thing. Even in those tiny, tiny exceptions, guaranteed that they were taught by a man somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
So
I was just about to say that she had a father. I was just about to say that.
Like anytime that there's ever been a woman that's ever been remotely self-sufficient, it's because she was taught to be that way by a man. There is no woman in history that's had like generations of women teaching her how to survive independently.
I'm telling you right now, it's just not going to end well. It's not going to end well for countless women out here, right? Because guess what? Like you said, it takes interdependency for society to thrive. And right now, the society is decaying from the inside out because more and more men are just saying, I had enough. I had enough. I'm not doing this anymore. They're literally, just imagine, gentlemen, imagine an entire army of men just throwing down their shield, taking off their armor, throwing down their sword, and they're like, fuck this. And they just walk away.
If, might even go quite simple. They probably just go like Barbarian knocks at the gates, and the guy goes, okay, well, I'm being offered jack shit in here. So, what's your guys' health plan like? What's the salary? Like if the Russians came over the border right now and said $50 acre of land, virgin bride if you fight for us. They'd have the U.S. Ah, shit. Looks like he's getting fucked over by computer problems. SCE, exclude the use of the bottom-up approach to the problem. The top-down approach is the overall approach to the situation. Again, SCE, like, we've gone back and forth on this quite a bit, but the top-down approach is not going to happen under the existing system. The existing system is going to have to fall apart. You're not going to get any sort of top-down change that's going to provide any solutions. It's going to have to be a bottom-up approach by a whole bunch of individual men just saying,
fuck this computer. God damn it.
Precisely.
Piece of shit. Fuck. Anyway, well, what were you talking about?
Leslie E said another thing about top-down versus bottom-up, and I'm like, look, people at the top are not going to provide any sort of top-down solution that is going to actually fix shit. Like, the people at the bottom already have all kinds of solutions to fix things. 1 million different small solutions that would fix the problem. It's the top-down that's getting in the way. Yeah, the top-down approach is what they're using to destroy everything, but that's the thing. The top-down approach it's the essence of collectivism. A few people making the decisions for the many. Yet it makes the decisions to destroy shit. But all they can do is destroy the existing systems. Like, they're destroying the very things that give them power and control in the first place. Individual, and as soon as they lose that control, then the bottom up is going to be able to take the power. All that has to happen is that just police and the military have to do a cost benefit analysis and realize that they got to look after their own asses.
So, do you believe in the quote, the most dangerous man is a man that has nothing to lose?
Yes, absolutely. You back someone into it's I think it's pretty common military tactic that you always want to leave a way for your opponent to flee. You don't want to completely surround them with no hope, because otherwise they'll fight that much more desperately.
And once again, the person doesn't have to be directly dangerous. He can be indirectly dangerous just by not participating anymore, right? They just like, I'm not doing anything. Fuck this. They just sit down and pout. Like, they just don't move. Like, I ain't doing shit no more. Do it yourself. You know, that person can also be dangerous, but just indirectly.
Yeah. I'm trying to piece together SCE stuff. The problem is his paragraphs are spread across a shit ton of chat, so.
What paragraphs?
He's got a couple different statements in there, like using pressure cooker as a metaphor to the top-down approach.
You talking about cesspool?
Yeah, cesspool.
Well, before we continue, if you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, there's a link on top of the chat. Cash App / Sir Yeetus. Any donation is appreciated. Thank you very much. All right, I'm curious about the top-down thing now.
Yeah, I was thinking. Well, he says 24 million formula won't support a CCP type of system. I'm pretty sure that anyone who wouldn't support a CCP type of system quit as soon as the COVID protocols came down.
You mean the beer flu?
Yeah, beer flu. Whatever your metaphor of choice, but yeah.
Well, Susan already hates me.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I'll avoid use of the actual acronym then. Yeah, but like as soon as the virus protocols came down, everyone who wouldn't support an oppressive, tyrannical controlling system quit. There's no more good cops. There's no more good military. There's no more good doctors. Everyone with integrity has quit. Everyone else, I don't care how good you are on terms with your cop neighbor or friend at the bar or whatever, they'll all step on your neck for a paycheck.
They'll tell you, I'm just doing my job. I'm just following orders.
I'm just looking after my family. Like, seriously, a cop with a family is the government's wet dream. Because all they have to do is be like, hey, you can remain an officer and do everything we say, and you'll have the power to support all your family. Or we can fire you, and you and your family will gain civilian status. That's how shit in the CCP works. Like you have the police officers and the enforcers able to give out food to all of their relatives. And all they have to do in exchange is whatever their daddy government tells them to do. That's how it's going to work. Like a cop with no family is like, well, they're definitely not as useful to the government. The more dependents people have, the better. And that's why you need all of this family court, child support laws. You need to be able to tie down all these men who are valuable, because a single man who's providing for basically himself, all he has to do is get his basic money in order, and he can fuck off whenever. It's hard to apply pressure to him. He can actually afford to have some kind of integrity. Because most men would be like, oh yeah, I have a high amount of integrity. I wouldn't compromise my morals. I'm strong. And they're like, okay, now we're going to put your wife and kids on the line. How fast do your morals bend then?
Agree. The man will bend the knee.
Bend the fucking knee.
So that's why content creators like us, or people that follow the red pill or MGTOW philosophy, gets demonized 24/7 because they have no leverage.
Here's the thing. Okay, so here's SCP's earlier thing. When the police lose support of the Republicans, they'll be hunted down in the streets by angry mobs. I don't see anything that I outright disagree with on that. But it's the thing, is like, there's the difference between not going after a cop because you actually support them, and not going after a cop because you fear the retribution against you and your family. I think there's a subtle difference there. Because it's not like the cops are being protected by walls of Republican civilians.
I see what you're saying.
Like, it's not like the Proud Boys that are protecting the cops from Antifa and BLM.
Just know that the boys in blue are not your friend.
That's the thing. Like, losing the support, I don't think that political will is necessarily that powerful. I'd put it more to financing. Because we're seeing it right now with a whole bunch of this defund the police stuff. Well, crime is getting more rampant and police are getting more attacked. It's not because the local people have necessarily changed their attitude towards the police. It's that the police financing has dried up.
Agreed.
SE, you'd have to link me to some books on that subject, SE. I wouldn't even know where to begin. If you send me some books to reference in Discord chat, then I'll add it to the massive archive of books that I have to read and start studying. So,
but one of the main reasons I want to talk about this today, gentlemen, is because I've noticed a very aggressive amount of women switching sides, trying to speak on behalf of men this year. A very aggressive amount.
Well, at the end
It's
of the
only
day, the
gonna
women, like, the women are looking for money. Like, that's all. And they're realizing pretty fast, especially if they're not hot enough to do OnlyFans shit. Oh, shit, Yeet's gone. Again. Susan really doesn't like him. That's the thing. So, like, these women are realizing... Oh, okay, you're back. Yeah, women are realizing that they can't get as much wealthy simp blood. Because the women are shifting because the men are shifting. Like, the OnlyFans simps, like, the money is drying up there, and it's a very niche market. Whereas you're seeing the rise of the red pill stuff, and okay, let's be honest. If a woman watches Hammerhand stream and sees the obscene amount of cash that pours in every time he streams, they're going to want a piece of that action.
Agreed. And they know that simps, they fall for nonsense pretty easily, especially, if they whisper sweet nothings and show a bit of skin.
Yeah, so like all they got to do is repeat some red pill talking points with some cleavage, and there's a whole bunch of guys with disposable income, like that are willing to just start throwing money at that shit. And then you combine that with the additional boosting from the algorithm.
Oh yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, bro. That shit still pisses me off. Content creators like us, we've been doing it for years. And then some female comes in, and in 2 months she's already at 50K subs.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It's insane. It's insane. And like I said last stream, wherever men go, women will follow. They can't help it. That's just how life works for humans.
Well, like again, remember ATM, attention, time, and money. Like if the men, like that's why you got this massive influx of gamer girls, because a whole bunch of men with disposable income were looking at something other than meat sack women, and so the meat sack women had to attach themselves to this other thing. Probably the exact same thing with sports. Wouldn't bet most women who like wear all the fucking sports jerseys and the paraphernalia and shit, they probably don't give a fuck about the sports. They just like the male attention when they're at the sports games.
I do not know how to say a name, but unfortunately, there will always be a man that will allow the women to follow.
Yeah, that's Mao Yumisu. Just call him Mao.
We're always going to have those simps. You saw it on the Bear Grylls survival show where the woman was out there cold in the rain and she attracted the simps. Like, oh, we're cold. Please let us use your fire. Like, oh, okay. Come on in. Come use our fire. And then the leader of the group came in like, bro, why the fuck are they in our fire? Like, why are they near our campfire? Oh, they were cold outside, man. They were cold and hungry. You see, that person should have got decked in the face, but it was a TV show.
Like,
so
yeah. It'd be like, okay, well, if you care so much, then your ass can get the fuck out of here, and you can go build a fire for them on their side of the beach.
Agreed. That's even better. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out.
Like I think if you're gonna bring them in, then you can get the fuck out if you want to be with them so badly.
Like, it's just foolish that you only see in first world countries. Gentlemen, we will take this as a lesson, a giant lesson, and we should pass it on to the next generations. You see how women treat us when they have everything handed to them, compared to the third world countries where they shut the fuck up and did as they were told. Just think on that, gentlemen. But guess what? As soon as they get whatever they want, these women they fucking just treat men lower than dirt, and then act all shocked when men don't stick around. That's a lack of accountability. That's gaslighting. All the above. And right now they're doing it on a societal scale. What do you think about that, Gray?
Essentially, just SC's latest comment just caught my curiosity. Like, men are supporting the views of other men. Are you insinuating that MGTOW concreters are like exotic dancers? They perform, but they don't own the bar? I mean, technically, that's true. You're going on stage in a venue that you don't own and giving a performance. and sometimes you make money and sometimes you don't. But in that same vein, I'd say that it would be the same as a stand-up comedian or
We are not like exotic dancers because we still have our dignity intact. That's hell no. Men creating these type of content, we actually, well, I wouldn't say all of us, but most of us have self-respect for ourselves. So, no.
And the other thing is that I think exotic dancers, like, they also get paid by the bar, whereas like MGTOW guys, like, they primarily have to make their tips outside of YouTube. I mean, I could switch to the sexy female avatar again if you guys want that. I mean, if there's a lack of cleavage on here at a debate.
No.
I tried that for a week and didn't get that much response. So
I agree. One bone for life. You know, they wanted the vote, they wanted the employment, they wanted enhanced opportunity. Now they want enhanced pay. What will they demand next? They'll demand as much as they can because, once again, a woman's happiness is like a black hole. You can never fill it. I not once heard a woman say, "I am content with what I have. I don't need it anymore." And they actually mean.
That's the thing. Like, when they, them actually meaning it. Like, they might say that, but they don't mean it. Like, you cannot trust what they say. They say whatever is going to give them the most social power in the moment.
Agreed. And once they don't get what they want, right? Like I always tell men, if your girl truly loves you for you, go up to her and say that you got let go from your job. Watch that sparkly face turn into a face of disgust in a split second. No, fuck that. Fuck saying you were let go. Say that you quit.
Yeah, say that you quit to pursue your true dream as an independent writer.
Just watch how fast she will flip on you. A quick 180. That is like at the speed of light.
Yeah, and say that, like, so you're going to have to put the vacation on hold because money is going to be tight for a while.
Already from, I love you to you're a fucking idiot. I'm telling you, gentlemen, if you're messing with some chick, I don't know if you are or not, you can test her by doing that. You will see her true colors. If she's actually like, oh, it's okay, you find another job, blah, 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 blah. Or she'll be like, oh, you fucking stupid fucking idiot. Oh, God damn it. I hate your goddamn guts. You'll see her true colors.
And now Dios Rey, she's out the door. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. She's not out the door. You're out the door. The cops are keeping you from coming back in, and that's her house now, even though you're still paying the mortgage.
Pretty much. There's too much information out here at this point, gentlemen. Way too much information out here. And you know in the back of your mind that a storm is a brewing.
Especially in Europe right now, because so many are going to start freezing, and because this happens in Canada every year, so I'm positive it's going to start happening in Germany. You're going to see some motherfuckers putting gas generators inside their homes, probably their garages, because they don't want to walk outside in order to keep it going, and they're going to die of monoxide poisoning. Guaranteed.
Agreed.
I'd be shocked if hundreds don't die from carbon monoxide poisoning over the next 4 months.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of injury and death in Europe, especially Ukraine. Because like over a million or a couple million are without power right now.
Yeah, and that's like kind of far north. Actually, let me see. curious as to how far north Ukraine actually is. Because, like, it's beside Russia, but Russia's fucking huge, so...
Right. But it's going to be a harsh winter.
The Russians ain't out of gas. You know that.
Whenever people don't get the comfort that they want, they're going to lose their minds, gentlemen. It's going to be an interesting winter. Very interesting.
There we go. Okay, so it is Ukraine's Yeah, it's little bit further north than I am technically. Like it's not quite central Canada, but so yeah, it would kind of be like North Dakota, Montana, Washington. That's about how far north it is.
So pretty good up north. Not too up north, but pretty north.
Decently north enough that winter's gonna suck.
Oh, definitely.
But like we're not talking like Moscow north.
Oh no. And you guys already know Putin hit a shit ton of energy infrastructures. So there's gonna be a lot of freezing people.
Yeah, and like again, Russia's fucking goddamn massive.
That is true. I thought they would have a bigger population. I forgot like most of it is just mountains and stuff.
Yeah, it's much like Canada in that regard. Most of the population is centered around the southern borders. But like the amount of sheer territory that they have is massive. So like they don't have to go terribly far to be away. If they go to like Novosibirsk, like that's so far away from the conflict that their day-to-day life probably hasn't changed for shit.
That's true. But Putin's playing the long game. It's going to be an interesting situation for the next few months. Who's going to cave in?
Well, that's the thing. Like Ukraine isn't going to cave because the Ukrainian leadership isn't exactly the people under pressure here.
Well, I'm sure there's hopes that there's enough pressure for the people to get pissed off enough to turn on their own government. Like, where's the fucking heat? Where's the gas? We're freezing to death here. And then the leadership will eventually cave to Putin's demands. I'm pretty sure that's his plan. Well, one of his plans.
Maybe, without being able to actually hear what the people on the ground actually think, we don't know how deep the propaganda goes, because like we have no idea what the average person fighting in Ukraine right now actually thinks of the situation. Because chances are every single bit of their problems is being blamed on Russia.
True, but when it comes to basic needs of the civilians, especially, they don't give a fuck if it's Russia's fault or not. If they're out there fucking freezing like hell, they'll literally turn to the government like, do something.
But keep in mind, Ukraine is the one constantly receiving the finances. Like, in order for the Ukrainians to actually suffer that kind of loss, the money has to stop flowing in from every other country. Like, I put my money on places like Germany undergoing internal conflict and having a rebellion against the government before Ukraine does.
Well, I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying when it comes to the finances, but it depends how long they're able to replace the energy infrastructure or how long they're able to rebuild it. And also depends how much Putin is going to attack it.
Well, keep in mind, the actual zone of the conflict isn't the entirety of Ukraine.
No. It's not just focused on the soldiers. I'm talking about if he can get the will of the people, the morale of the people, tell them like they're like, hey, I don't give a fuck whose fault it is. I want this war to be over. I'm dying. I'm dying here. You know, like somewhat similar situation of the Vietnam War. The only reason we pulled out because the people eventually said, no, fuck this, we had enough, and the government eventually caved in.
Yeah, but keep in mind that wasn't the people of Vietnam. That was the people financing it. So, essentially, for the Ukrainian conflict to end, there would have to be enough political pressure in the West to stop financing the war in Ukraine.
I will say that may happen by mid next year, if nukes doesn't start flying. I say
No,
mid next year.
If nukes start flying, then we have bigger problems.
Yeah, but by mid next year, I'll say they'll cave in. I'll say around May, April, May.
Winter's definitely going to put a lot of pressure. I'll give it that. But yeah, like you're going to have to see like if the U.S. stopped, that'd be one thing. So, like with the midterms passing and like the current U.S. House Speaker, like yeah, it's a Republican, but from what I've heard, it's one of those fucking rhinos that wouldn't actually stop shit. So honestly, short of like wait this way, I think that the biggest hope for the war in Ukraine ending is Trump getting reelected.
I agree 1,000,000%. I agree. Because Trump doesn't want war. He doesn't want it. Like doesn't mean that he won't make it happen, but this, in my opinion, he doesn't even want to be part of NATO in the first place. He wanted to leave.
But and even then, I'm just not even saying that's a guarantee. I'm saying that that's probably the only way that the U.S. is going to withdraw from this, is if Trump gets reelected. And then you look at all the chicanery with the elections, and I imagine it's only a matter of time before we're going to have to find some code word for elections at this rate. But the democratic process or whatever is so fortified, I'd be fucking shocked if Trump actually makes it to be the actual Republican candidate. Be fucking shocked.
Okay. So before we deep dive into this conversation further, thank you, Gold Dialect, for the donation. He says, Poon says, my list gets longer, Z. Choose wisely. I do not know what he means by that exactly, but I'm assuming that Poon's not fucking around.
My list is long as what?
My list gets longer, Z. Choose wisely.
Oh, so, my list gets longer, probably addressed to Zelensky.
Yeah. Z. Choose wisely. So I'm like, okay, so Putin's not fucking around right now.
Yeah, basically saying like, look, the longer that you keep this going, the more names I realize are people who are completely fucking with the world.
And I do want to talk about that certain situation in detail. How do you feel? Okay, right now, the U.S. specifically and Ukraine, they're not really on good terms at the moment because of the situation in Poland. When they found out that Ukraine was the one that, the missiles hit that farm that killed 2 people, and pretty much would have started World War III full fledged. What's your opinion on that one?
Well, got to keep in mind that the U.S. also almost certainly was responsible for those gas lines getting kiboshed. So it's not as though this Black Ops stuff is something that they haven't been coordinating on. So there's a difference between the U.S. putting on a public face of being pissed with Ukraine in order to try and pretend to the people that they actually give a shit, and the U.S. just, I think, like, I don't buy it. I don't buy the U.S. being genuinely pissed unless Ukraine actually tried to do something without consulting them first and makes them look stupid. But
I believe Zelensky, he did that on his own personally.
But here's the thing: given how close that story was to the whole FTX thing, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if it was coordinated, and the U.S.'s outrage is just to keep pressure off of the whole midterms bullshit and FTX discovery.
I see what you're saying.
I don't trust the sincerity of the U.S. outrage. That's my 2 cents on it.
Okay, you don't have to trust the sincerity of that, but I am damn well on the lines of Zelensky did it on purpose. Knowing Zelensky.
Oh, no, I think it was absolutely on purpose. I just think that it was done in coordination with the U.S.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll give you that one. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a pure fucking accident. You don't like if you look at where like the conflict is, and then you look at where Poland is relative to the conflict. There's no way that you accidentally shoot the Polish while trying to shoot the Russians.
Yeah, the missiles doesn't just go like a whole 90 degrees a different direction.
A freaking 180 degrees.
Like 180,
literally,
180
like
degrees.
literally, they shot behind them in order to hit Poland.
That like they must have some fancy ass missiles, huh? Oh shit! I'm just saying, gentlemen.
And given that it wasn't a super long range missile, just due to observing the impact, it was something somewhat close by.
And goddamn, I guarantee you, like, I'm glad that Poland was like, hey, you know, we gotta make sure that it was actually Russia, because honestly, you know, my veteran buddies, they were hyped. They're like, oh shit, it's about to happen. World War III time, baby. You know.
Yeah. No, like it was like as David M pointed out, like no, it was absolutely a false flag. And like here where they reckon either A, they want NATO to do some sort of commitment to enter the conflict before anyone discovers that it was actually Ukraine, and by then it'd be too late to back off. Or B, they wanted Russia to give a false apology and admit to wrongdoing for the sake of peace and try to get some kind of concessions out of them.
Agreed. Both are very, 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 very plausible. That's the only two things.
Like objectives could have been both in that case, and they could just like, hey, we can go for this or we can go for this. And then Russia didn't cave, and the investigation results actually came out. And so now they're just trying to sweep the whole damn thing under the rug. And everyone's trying to play righteous indignation so that no one realizes how deep the coordination goes.
And with the what's it called? The pipeline, the Nordic 2 pipeline. I think that's what it's called.
Nordstrom, maybe, yeah.
Something like that. They said that, yeah, there's legit evidence of explosives being used to sabotage the pipeline. The main suspect is Russia. I'm like, okay, come on. Stop that fucking narrative, okay?
Yeah, all Russia has to do
in a conference that I'm going to destroy that pipeline. He said it himself. And he confirmed it twice.
Yeah. Also, Fish got nukes. Fertilizer depot. That would actually be a decent military target if you're looking to starve people, yes.
The fish got. Damn, I wish I could do some whole class uh warfare. That'd be a pretty fun stream. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I should because
Maybe get you.
there's
Yeah.
there's so many things that goes into warfare, gentlemen. It's not even fucking funny. With every avenue of approach that you have to think of when it comes to warfare, I'm telling you, it may not seem important, but almost every single thing that goes into a plan or operation is important.
Yeah, like fertilizer might seem innocuous, but if you're going for a long-term conflict, the fertilizer depot that you destroy today turns into starving people by next fall.
Agreed. Like hitting water towers, or what's happening recently, possibly hitting dams.
Yeah, I think far shorter term consequences on those.
Yeah,
Fertilizer is an
yeah.
example of a longer term one, but if you're taking out dams, then yeah, there goes a shit ton of hydroelectric, not to mention the immediate damage from the dam water flooding out.
Well, for long term, then surround the city and don't let anything come in or out.
Well, that's the thing. Destroying, like if you destroy airport runways, train tracks, roads. Like it's one thing to surround the city and like it's one thing to prevent it, but think about the kind of infrastructure that you need in order to get an 18-wheeler. Like good luck supplying a city with a whole bunch of Jeeps. If you like I'm thinking Canada with Toronto. If you took out all the 400 highways leading into Toronto, you'd starve that city.
Agreed. And you also destroy the military weapons warehouse. I forgot what it's fucking called, but you destroy the weapons. You the things you don't touch is the hospitals and the churches, unless you know for sure that the enemy is inside. But even then, like you need to be very, very careful that there's no civilians inside if you're trying to go by the Geneva Convention. So
yeah,
there are targets that we're not allowed to hit unless there's enemies. Then we gotta. It's a very complicated situation, but there are places that you're able to hit and places that you're not allowed.
Yeah,
because it's kind of fucked up if you do it.
Actually, it reminds me of a hooked up thing from one anime series, Saga of Tanya the Evil. They were going to strike a shell manufacturing plant, but to technically be within the rules of war, they had to launch their intention to attack to allow for an evacuation. But the main character is a little girl, so it sounded like a prank and no one took it seriously.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you the clip.
God damn. Give me 1 second. Joey Shabadu. Yeah, that's how you say it. Been away for a bit. Does he still take calls? See, I haven't been seeing the track of time. I would do calls right now, but Hammerhand will be on in around 15 minutes. So I will be doing a stream later on, though, on my second channel. I'm going to see if the stream works. It's going to be a test stream. Because after episode 200 of Yeetus' Thoughts, I'm going to shift my attention on the second channel. I'll explain everything at the end of the stream. But what were we talking about, Gray?
Wartime Laud. I just sent you a clip on that. So yeah, I'll send it to Mao too, since he's interested. A minute and 20 seconds, but
okay, I'll definitely check it out. But gentlemen, I don't know how much the Great Ghost pays attention to the current war that's happening, but I definitely keep a close eye on what's going on because once again, I've lived it. You know, I like to see the strategy. You'll be able to predict somewhat what's going to happen next, whether you have military experience or not. Right? You just got to
That's
have
the
enough general knowledge.
like I keep like my understanding of it is a little more academic, and then reading up kind of various theoretical wartime stuff. As
Also,
for the actual conflict, I'll get some notifications every now and again that'll do a bit of an in-depth dive, but day to day I wouldn't say I have more than half an eye on it.
well, more specifically, when you say academics, history, gentlemen, that's why you need to know your goddamn history. I'm telling you should know your history in the sense of what Russia is doing right now, what Ukraine is doing per se. They've done this before, especially Russia. When Russia surrounded that steel power plant, I think it was, that's one of their battle plans to surround a certain city or area and let nobody go in or out. You starve them out to defeat. You starve them. They get too thirsty. They can't take the isolation. They will come out and surrender. Which that's what happened.
Well, it's classic siege tactics. One of the main problems, though, is that you also need to continuously provide for your military force in order to maintain it. So you need to have consistently strong supply lines yourself in order to actually outlast. You can't just park your ass there and then eat rations for 3 to 6 months.
Agreed. And also knowing your history, you know that Russia, they haven't been having a nice run when it comes to military operations for the last 30 years. They're not that great. They got their ass whooped in Afghanistan. So technically, I'm not too surprised about the progress of what's happening right now in Ukraine. I'm sure
note,
right now they're going to upgrade their weapons and stuff. No doubt they're going to upgrade. But at the moment, their military equipment, their weapons, their vehicles, they're so outdated. It's not be funny. There's a lot of things you need to know, gentlemen. But what were you saying, Greg?
What's the thing? But it's just looking at the geography. Like Afghanistan, like for Russia to enter Afghanistan, they got to go through Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, or Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan. Like they've got to go through a whole bunch of other places in order to get supplies to Afghanistan, and the distance from Moscow and their primary infrastructure too. I think that geographically, Russia's in a far better position on Ukraine because it's right on their border. Like, not to mention, like they're far more familiar with the territory, and technically, it's all like they're also fighting over territory that they previously had ownership of, where they have no history owning the territory in Afghanistan. So I really think that comparing the two is very much an apples to oranges situation.
True, but I'm just saying their streak of luck was not good when it comes to the last 30 years of military operations. They're not that successful. The only thing they were successful in my opinion, was Crimea. Well, they technically caught them off guard, right? It was like out of nowhere.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, I'd look at the past century of Russian conflict, and they've got a fairly good military record. Like,
agreed, but at what cost?
Oh yeah, no, the fucking cost is absolutely atrocious. But then keep in mind, you also have to think about who the leadership was at every given time. Like, communist Russia and current Russia aren't quite the same beasts.
Agreed, but Putin's not that far behind, in my opinion, since he is ex-KGB.
He might be ex-KGB, but like the system of morale, the lives of the day-to-day citizens, it's significantly different.
Yeah, but Yeah, I'll agree 98% because he is still from the Soviet Union days.
Yeah, no, like there's a fair bit, but my understanding is that the Soviet Union was just one hell of a beast in of itself and a very different environment. I think that like Soviet Union would probably be far more comparable to the modern day CCP.
Well, they did say the Soviet Union pretty much did collapse on themselves. You know, it was because of well, not only the economy but the political turmoil pretty much destroyed the Soviet Union.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the with the political situation, you're going to be dealing with, officers that aren't being executed for being too competent, soldiers that have motivations beyond, like getting their families tossed into Siberia and shit. A different environment of morale. Like I'd say that morale wise, the Russians are in a far superior position to the Ukrainians right now.
That is true. I'm gonna address this right quick. Thank you, Cyrus McCormick, for the generous donation that you gave me. He says, "Tell Ghost that he probably smells like lavender today." Oh, not today. He probably smells like lavender. Well, I can see that.
Yeah, you can see the avatar. Yeah.
Yeah, lavender smelling anime character. But cesspool. He says, "How often do the rules of the Geneva Convention get tossed out in times of war?" It happens more than people know. I agree because you talk about Geneva Convention. You mean Geneva suggestions?
Yeah, Geneva suggestions. And I think, as
Uh,
they say in Cyberpunk, like it's only a crime if you get caught.
oh, I seen something else. What was it? Give me 1 second. Oh, this one. Unbound Soul, USSR versus current Russia. USSR will fucking wipe current Russia off the face of the map. Like just just soldiers alone. The soldiers from the Soviet Union. Woo! Tough son of a bitches. Tough. Because they had no choice but to be tough. You know, current Russia would not just soldiers alone. Soldiers alone.
Now, yes, the thing like that would be that's a very complex question because, like, I would think that the USSR soldiers, by and large, if they were like, "Hey, we're against war with other Russians," and like we've seen the olive branches that current Russia has extended out to the Ukrainians, like I mean, like if you had like absolutely just military force numerical comparison, yes, the USSR wins. But then you consider the motivations of the different individuals. I think that you'd get the USSR soldiers to abandon their posts en masse and join the fight against the USSR.
Okay, everybody, put a one in the chat if you're a fan of these type of conversations. Because I noticed that a lot of you guys pay a lot more attention when we speak on shit like this. And this is the goal that I'm trying to get on my second channel. This is the shit that I would like to talk about as well. Yeah, female nature, all women are like that, blah, 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 whatever. I want to get into the actual important conversations like this. See, I really do believe. See, this is why I think the second channel is going to do good. Right? And like once again, this is just a couple of dudes or a bunch of dudes coming around just talking about some important or serious shit, right? It's just your opinion. You don't have to be 100% correct, but when you have an opinion, just make sure you're able to, back up your opinion. Don't make a baseless opinion. Ain't that right, Ray?
Exactly. Like I might not be correct, but if someone disagrees with me, they've got to actually have some kind of point where my logic is flawed or some sort of counter information that I overlooked that changes the changes what I'd say. Like, you can't just go and say, well, I disagree with you because I don't like you. Doesn't mean shit. Like, I might not be an expert on many things, but if I can provide some sort of logical process and a bunch of information and people don't have a counter argument, at least I'm not technically wrong.
See? I agree. Unfortunately, the female nature has to get repeated due to the new people coming in. They have no new point of views or anything. Like, once again, look at all the live streams that I've done with Gray, with Rishi, with Hammerhand, with Sandman, with TFM. We try to give you guys as much diverse content as possible when it comes to male issues. But now we got the newcomers coming in. He, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Waste of time. But I do say that just soldiers against soldiers, USSR will crush the current Russia.
In an outright numbers battle, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the weaponry. Fuck.
Yeah, like that's
Damn it.
There's so many factors because.
Yeah, I had to think about that. I oversimplified it. Never mind. I take my answer back. God damn it. Oh shit. Hold up. Always wanted to do a special with you, brother Yeetus. Hey, see, here's the plan, gentlemen. After the 200th episode, I'm going to focus, you know, the Sir Yeetus channel you see right here. I'm moving majority of the content to Odyssey. So, best believe, if you don't have Odyssey yet, I highly suggest you get one if you want to continue seeing my content. But the second channel, Yeetus News, that's the channel I'm going to focus on YouTube. So that's going to be the big plan that's happening after the 200th episode. So, because I've been at 12,000 subs for the last for the last 3 months. It's getting annoying at this point. I know that I'm getting shadow banned. It's ridiculous. So, and I would have gone to Rumble, but Rumble, they only have PayPal as a payout, and you already know how the situation with PayPal is, so I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah,
you know,
we'll look into some of those Streamlabs options that we were talking about yesterday.
Yes, and on top of that, if all else fails, the subscribe star is coming very soon. I just still gotta get verified. It says it takes around 72 hours. So there's big plans going on, gentlemen. And this is the first time in a while I did a stream that's over 2 hours. And let me know if there's any more guests that you want me to bring. Because you already know Greg Ghost, he's going to be here dropping knowledge. But let me know if you guys have anybody else. Final thoughts, Gray?
We've covered, well, quite frankly, a wide variety of stuff, but I guess I'd just reiterate that these days you're not doing a man any favors by lying to him to make him feel better. The most direct way that you can help a man improve is to be honest with him about the consequences of his actions.
Okay, that's that's pretty much true, you know. And gentlemen, once again, we're not at the hard times yet, but you know that you see the storm on the horizon. You see it. You see it. Women don't want to see it. Well, they know it's happening, but they tend to have the head in the sand. If you guys get what I'm talking about, they still act like everything's fine and dandy and nothing's bad is going on out there. But you know, a storm is a brewing, gentlemen. You already know, and we will definitely continue on this topic tomorrow. If not tomorrow, this Sunday, if you guys want to call in, talk to the big boys. Gray will be there too if it's possible.
Yeah, I'll set aside stuff for Sunday. I'll technically be doing a stream later tonight talking about procedural content versus authored content. So I'll be posting that, but we'll see how many people show to that versus Hammerhand's sermon.
And it'll be a live stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody currently go over to Hammerhand's channel. I repeat, go over to Hammerhand's channel. It's your boys here, Yeetus. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you everybody that donated today. Hopefully you enjoyed the gems that me and Gray dropped on you tonight. And we are out. Peace.
Peace out, everyone.
Go to Hammerhand's channel. Hurry up and go.